Now, I have an important message from His Excellency the Governor. He says, please do not venture out on the streets. People, do not venture out on the streets because there is still some firing going on. Stanley is completely surrounded by armoured vehicles and troops. Hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of troops are now in Stanley. But at the moment, there's a lull in the firing. I haven't heard any firing for some time, and obviously everyone is awaiting the outcome of the negotiations. And houses are being searched, looking for arms, and it seems to be a very peaceful search, and nobody has reported any incidents. There have been some bullet holes and things from previous firing, but otherwise, at the moment, it seems to be quiet. Now, I've just been telephoning the hospital here to find out about casualties, and I think this is very important. There are 2 seriously wounded people, and they're both Argentines. And I think this is very important to remember in a thing like this, that some people are going to get hurt. And unfortunately, 2 people have got hurt, and I understand from Dr. Mary that 2 Argentines are seriously injured, and they're going to be picked up by the hospital now. And unfortunately, I could not obtain any other details at the moment, but it would appear that at the moment that there are no reports of any of the local people injured. And I've just been told of the group that have seemingly given up or surrendered, that were seen coming down by Sullivan House a little while ago, and perhaps their families might like to know: Gerald Cheek, Pat Pack, Vernon Steen, Robert Roby, Tubby Smith and Doug Hanson. So we know that these people are okay. Just a minute. Yeah? Yes, well, as I was saying, the governor's just told me that a truce has been called. A truce has been agreed. There is to be no more shooting. There is to be no more shooting. A truce has been agreed. And we know for sure that there are 3 Argentines very badly wounded in the government house area in the first outburst of fighting. And I'm afraid to say one is believed to be dying. It's bad news. Anyway, let us just proceed with a bit of music for now until we can hear from His Excellency the Governor. And meanwhile, if Mr. Bill Roberts is listening, would he try and get to Government House as soon as possible, please? Well, now, the situation, as you might hear, is that the radio station has now been taken over. We have 3 Argentine members.
We have everything recorded in 2 tapes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Well, just a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You wait a minute, please.
Go ahead.
We've been taken over the radio station, as expected, by the Argentine Invasion force. And before they broadcast their tapes that they want to broadcast, which you heard him tell me, there's one thing I want to clarify. Some people have been phoning me, and they're not happy with the way I've been presenting this information to you over the last 2 hours, or 3 hours, or 4 hours, or 10 hours, whatever it is. Well, I'm very sorry for those people that I haven't given you the information as you wanted. I don't know what you wanted me to say, but I've tried to present to you an unbiased and fair report on what's happening. And when I say that I think it's good news that a truce has been agreed, I mean it's good news because I hope that none of our boys are going to get shot. That's what I mean. And as far as I'm concerned, if nobody gets shot, the better it is. I'm not happy with this invasion. I'm not happy as you are. Of course I'm not happy. Let's get that straight. But as far as I'm concerned, we know that there are 3 Argentines wounded. We know one is believed to be dying. And I just do not want any of our local lads who are hopelessly outmanned to be shot and injured and wounded. That's what I mean when I say it's good that at least the firing has stopped. Let's get that straight. Several people just accused me of saying the wrong things. Well, the radio station has now been taken over. I still hope that we can get His Excellency the Governor's message to you. Sir, what do you want to, do you want to speak to the people? What do you want to tell?
Tell the people to wait, turning on their receivers, to wait some minutes. In some minutes, the chief is going to communicate them what we want for the for the population.
Well, just a minute.
Sí, señor, un minuto.
If you take the gun out of my back, I'm going to transmit that news. If you take the gun away. But I'm not speaking with the gun in my back. Well, there's an argument going on now between the three Argentines. They've disappeared. They've left me alone in this room. They're having an argument between themselves. Hello? Yes, sir? So, yeah, I've just been taken over by the Argentines. Well, yes, okay, so they've gone into an argument now. Yes, right. Well, His Excellency the Governor is on the line now, and he's going to speak to you before we have to play the Argentine tapes. Yes, sir, go ahead, please.
Hello, Governors and Islanders. I hope that you can hear me on the phone. The machine here doesn't work. The Admiral came along to me and I told him that he'd landed unlawfully on British sovereign territory, and I ordered him to leave forthwith. He refused, claiming that he was taking back territory that belonged to Argentina, and it was Britain that was unlawfully in possession. I said that it was reprehensible that Argentina should have seized the islands by force after Britain and Argentina had agreed in the UN to settle the dispute by peaceful means. He said he was a soldier merely obeying instructions, and he appealed to me to cease needless bloodshed as he had an overwhelmingly superior force. I said I couldn't argue with that, but I would not have agreed to a ceasefire had we had anything like comparable forces. He paid tribute to our troops and called them very brave. That's all I got to say. I'm sorry it's happened this way. It's probably the last message I'll be able to give you. But I wish you all the best of luck. And rest assured that the British will be back.
Sir, hello? I'm sorry, I've lost his Governor. Yes? Hello? Yes, sir. No, I'm not doing damn all with a gun in my back, sir. That's for sure. And it's gone.
Patrick, nor me, but as I said, if we'd had anything like comparable force, we'd have thrown them back into the sea. But we can't cope with armoured personnel carriers and what have you.
Yes.
We've only got small arms.
Yes, sir. Now, probably a question I don't know if you can answer, but what action do you think the British government might take at this moment, sir?
Well, if they've got to declare war, I would think, against Argentine. They can't allow a piece of British sovereign territory to be taken over like this by force. It's completely reprehensible, as I said, and as I told the Admiral.
Right, sir. Can you give me some direction there, sir, of what I should do? Should I obey here in the radio?
Yes, please, Patrick, I think,
obey these people?
I think for the sake of the islands, it's necessary for you to keep up the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Service and keep it going. As you say, I think you've done it, I don't know how many hours you've been on it, I think you've done a tremendous job, and I certainly wouldn't agree with any of your critics that you've said the wrong thing. I think you've reported everything very well, and I think keep it up, even with a gun in your back. I would. You're doing a service for the islands.
Yes, sir. So I think from now on, I presumably will have to take orders from these people here, but you are still in telephonic communication, and if you want to broadcast to the people, presumably you will be able to do that.
I'll do that until they stop me, Patrick, yes.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Bye. Bye.
Okay. Music.
Just a minute. Yes, I have a message which I want to convey to the Argentine group who are listening. Dr. Alison Bleaney has been called to the hospital in Stanley to attend to the injured people. And at the moment, Dr. Bleaney is in Stanley House, and she intends to leave with her husband and 2 children to go to the hospital to attend these people. And they're going to carry a white flag, and they ask the Argentine people for clearance to go to the hospital where they can attend to the wounded. So if the commander of the group is listening, can you please organize for Dr. Alison Bleaney and her husband and 2 children to attend the hospital where she can carry about her work. Thank you. We have another call now from Mr. Neville Bennett of Stanley. His wife, Valerie Bennett, a sister at the hospital, has just been called to attend to the hospital, to attend to the injured people. And I'd like all the visiting people, the invasion group, to know that Mrs. Bennett will be leaving her house shortly, carrying a white flag, and she will be proceeding to the hospital, and she asks for clearance to go to the hospital and do her duty. Thank you. Now, we have plenty of calls coming in at the moment. This call is from the Superintendent of Education, Mr. John Fowler. He wants to tell all the parents of the children that who are at school in Stanley that they are all okay, nobody has been injured, everybody is okay. And the Stanley House children apparently are watching video at the moment. Mr. Petefield has come from the Racecourse Road Hospital and says the girls there are all very well, and Mr. Fowler says himself that to tell the parents that there's nothing to worry about. So that's good news. I think that's good news. Wouldn't you say it's good news? I do anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, the population of the Falkland Islands and whoever else may be listening, the radio station is now under control, as you know, of the invasion forces of Argentina, and therefore we have to obey the instructions of these forces. At this moment I've been instructed to play for you a tape. I don't know what it is, so I'm going to play it for you now.
A partir del día de la fecha, 2 de abril de 1982, inicia su transmisión LRA Radio Islas Malvinas para toda la República Argentina.
Begins its transmission. LRA, Islas Malvinas Broadcasting Station, for the whole of the Argentine Republic. We shall listen now the Argentine National Anthem.
Se solicita la atención de los pobladores de las Islas Malvinas. Se dará lectura al bando y los comunicados del comandante del Teatro de Operaciones Malvinas.
You are listening to the station known as the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Station previously. I don't know the new name yet, I haven't got it quite worked out. But at this moment, I'm still waiting for communication from the governor of the Falkland Islands, as we know it, to know what I have to do. And I'm not sure of these instructions. At the moment, I am obeying his orders, and that is to obey the instructions of the people who are in the radio station and who have taken over. So I think the best thing we can do at the moment is to continue with some music and see what happens after that. Ladies and gentlemen, the population of the Falkland Islands, as we know it, I've been instructed to play to you another tape from the people who have the Argentine Invasion Force who have taken over the islands and the radio station, and I will now play you this tape.
República Argentina, Comando del Teatro de Operaciones Malvinas. Comunicado número 2. Cambio de autoridades. Las autoridades coloniales y militares del gobierno británico cesan de hecho en sus funciones a partir de este momento.
Argentine Republic, Malvinas Operation Theater Command. Communique number 2, relief of authorities. From hereafter, the colonial and military authorities of the British government are effectively relieved of their charges and shall be sent back to their country today with their families and personal effects. Furthermore, it is hereby made known that General of Division Osvaldo Jorge Garcia, on behalf of the Argentine government, is taking power of the government of the Islas Malvinas, Georgias del Sur, and Sandwich del Sur. Islas Malvinas, April 2nd, 1982. Osvaldo Jorge García, General de División, Comandante del Teatro de Operaciones Malvinas.
República Argentina, Comando del Teatro de Operaciones Malvinas. Comunicado número 3. Instrucciones para la población.
Argentine Republic, Malvinas Operation Theater Command, Communique number 3, instructions for the population. As a consequence of all the necessary actions taken, and in order to ensure the safety of the population, all people are to remain at their homes until further notice. New instructions will be issued. The population must bear in mind that in order to ensure the fulfillment of these instructions, military troops shall arrest all people found outside their homes. The governor of the Islas Malvinas, Georgias del Sur, and Sandwich del Sur, General of Division Osvaldo Jorge Garcia, notifies the population that, faithfully upholding the principles stated in the national constitution, and in accordance with the customs and traditions of the Argentine people, he guarantees, first, the continuity of the way of life of the people of the islands. Second, freedom of worship. Third, respect for private property. Fourth, freedom of labor. Fifth, freedom to enter, leave, or remain on the islands. Sixth, improvement of the population standard of life. Seventh, normal supply situation. Eighth, health assistance. Ninth, normal function of essential public services. Furthermore, the population is exhorted to continue normally with their activities from the moment in which this will be stated with the support of the Argentine government in an atmosphere of peace, order, and harmony. Islas Malvinas, April 2nd, 1982. Osvaldo Jorge García, General de División, Gobernador de las Islas Malvinas, Georgias del Sur y Sandwich del Sur.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Patrick Watts again. Some people have been ringing up and asking me about whether they can go out into their premises and whether they can look after their hens and their dogs and everything else. Senor, come here.
Yes.
Is it possible for people to go out and look after their hens and their dogs? Can they do that or not?
No, people can go out of his houses until new order. We ask to the people to continue in their houses, please.
Yes, but can they go out into their premises and look after the hens and
Look
the dogs, the sparrows,
Yes.
and the pollos, the dogs?
No.
Yeah, no, they have to feed them, give them
Yes,
food.
but to avoid any problems, we ask to the people to continue in their houses until new order.
Yes,
Okay?
but these people are not going to do any harm. They're not on the street. They're just in their house, in the garden, the jardin.
Okay, I understand the situation, but until the new order of the commander of the operation theater, nobody can go out of his houses to avoid any problem.
Right. Well, how am I going to get someone to come here to do my job?
To do your job.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, when I tell you that it's possible to tell someone to come here, I will ask to my command that some people is going to come here, and my command is going to take him with a car and take it here.
Right. Now look, there are some very old people here in Stanley. Some very old people. You understand me?
Yes,
Personas muy viejos. Okay?
yes,
And they need to be looked after. They need to have some help, some assistance.
yes, okay.
If the people want to go to visit them, can they go with the white flag, bandera
No.
blanco?
A white flag for the people who need assistance have to be put it in the window of their houses, and military patrols are going to give him assistance.
Yes. Some people want to go to visit these old people because they know they are very worried. You understand me?
Yes, I
Very
understand you. But until new order to the inhabitants of Malvinas Islands, nobody can go out of his houses. If some people have any trouble, any problem, and need assistance, medical assistance or another kind of assistance, they have to put in the window of their houses a white flag, and military patrols are going to bring him assistance.
White
okay?
flag, yeah?
Okay, white flag
Yeah.
in the window of the house.
Now,
That says one of the communications we told to the people by the radio.
right, now, before you go, I'm a very inquisitive interviewer. I'm a very inquisitive journalist, as you know. You had your name, you had my name in your book, you told me,
Yes.
before you came here.
Yes,
Is that right?
yes.
Yes, okay. Now look, I want to ask you one question, please. One family here has a house, is in a very bad state. The house
Yes.
has almost been demolished. They need to get assistance, they need to get help, they need to get food. This is Mr. Davies
Okay.
of Davis Street. What can he do for
Okay.
assistance?
Mr. Davis, if you are listening me, put a white flag in the window of your house, and military patrols are going to bring you assistance, foods and everything you need. Okay, Mr. White?
Mr. Davis.
Pardon, Mr. Davis.
Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Well, as you can hear, we have been taken over by these forces, and there's nothing we can do about it at the moment. And we have to obey the instructions. And to those people who have houses, like Mr. Davis, Tom Davis, maybe Mr. Alistair Grieve, I don't know. I haven't heard from him for a long time. I tried to contact him. For these people, if you need assistance, you must put a white flag in your window, and then you will receive help. You will receive food. You will receive other help that you may need. So please obey the instructions. And I think at this moment it's better that you obey all the instructions that you are given and instructed to do so. I don't think there's any point in anyone disobeying these instructions. This is all advice I can
Tell them
give
to
to you.
turn on, to be paying attention to the radio. We are going to repeat the communications to the inhabitants.
Right. Please listen to the radio, because they're going to relay again the communications to you, which instructs you of what you can do and what you cannot do. We'll do that in a few moments. Meanwhile, back to the music. I've just heard communications from Mr. Keith Stewart of the FIBS.
I will read.
No, I will read. And he tells me that Mr. Alistair Grieve and his family are okay. They've all congregated in his house, Mr. Keith Stewart's house, and at the moment they're okay and they don't need any assistance, which is very reassuring, and I'm very happy to hear that. Excuse me, I'm just going to answer the phone before I read the communique. Studio? Yes? Yeah? Not at the moment. Yes, don't worry, Yoda. Yeah, don't worry. We just do as we're told and we're okay. As long as we do as we're told, there's no problem. Okay, Yoda. Thanks a lot. Bye. Well,
From the beginning.
right. The communique, which some people are not sure about, I shall now read to you. Argentine Republic, Malvinas Operation Theater Command. Communique number 3, instructions for the population. What is that flying over?
An helicopter.
A helicopter?
Yes.
What's your name?
France.
France is here. Frank?
Yes,
Yeah.
France.
Frank is here. He's in
Francisco.
charge here. I have to do as he's telling me. Francisco is here and he's in charge. And I'm not in charge anymore. I just obey his instructions, okay? But all you Falkland Islanders, you're always good for a laugh, and you know what I mean. Okay, Malvinas Operation Theatre Command, communique number 3, instructions for the population. Please listen carefully, because this is important. This is not a joke. As a consequence of all the necessary actions taken, and in order to ensure the safety of the population, all people are to remain at their homes until further notice. Now, please take note of that. All people should remain in their homes until further notice. New instructions will be issued. The population must bear in mind that, in order to ensure the fulfillment of these instructions, military troops shall arrest all people found outside their homes. Please remember that if you're out and you're not waving the white flag or for some special mission, these military troops...
Yes, it's written a communication on the radio.
Just tell them to hang on, will you?
Can you wait?
Yeah, tell them to hang on a minute. Somebody wants me on the phone again. But, hang on.
Okay, please turn on your radio. We are going to give you
Military
instructions
troops
by the
will
radio.
arrest all people who are found outside the house if it's not for some special reason. Now, to avoid inconveniences and personal misfortunes, people are to abide by the following. In other words, people are to do as they say. 1. Should some serious problem arise and people wish to make it known to the military authorities, a white piece of cloth is to be placed outside the door. Military patrols will visit the house as to be informed and provide a solution. Now let me interpret that in the way I see it. If you have a problem, if your house has been badly damaged, if you've got no food, if you've got no water, if there's some problem, if someone's injured, who knows, perhaps there is something we don't know about. If there is any of these problems, don't be afraid, put a white piece of cloth outside of your door and the military patrols will visit you and they will help you to get over the problem. Number 2, all schools, shops, stores, banks, the pubs, bad luck fellas, and the clubs are to remain closed until further notice. So that means all the schools, yeah, and the shops, the stores, the banks, our pubs, the Globe, the Victory, the Bros, and the clubs are to remain closed until further notice. All infringements shall be treated accordingly to what is stated in number 1. Yeah. So I wouldn't like to tell you what that is, but I think if you don't obey what they tell you to do, there may be a bit of trouble. Number 4. All further instructions shall be released through the local broadcasting station, which shall remain in permanent operation. Yes, the FIBS is still on the air. And that is signed Osvaldo Jorge Garcia, the General, the Division of the Comando del Teatro de Operations of Malvinas. Okay. You know, I'm getting really hungry here. I haven't had anything to eat since about 8 o'clock last night. I think they're going to let me go home in a minute. Can I go home in a minute? Can I go home and have some breakfast?
Yes, some minutes you can go home, no problem.
No problem to go
when
home?
When I told the military patrols that you're going home, we can go home.
Do I have to wave the white flag when I go home?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm gonna put a white flag, and then the military patrols will take you to your home.
Right, okay, Mum, we'll get some toast on the way, will you? I'm going to go home in a minute and have something to eat and drink. I feel like it. And I hope that somebody's going to come and relieve me here. Right.
Okay.
Now, just a minute. I've just had a call from Mr. Malcolm Ashworth from the dairy, who wants to be able to go out and look at his cows and deliver his milk. Mr. Ashworth, if you're listening, the instructions I have is if you place a white flag or white piece of paper in your window, the military patrol will come and assist you. I hope they can find out where the dairy is. But anyway, that's the instructions that I have. If you place the white flag in your window, then you can help out. Now, we just have to carry on the way we're going, and for goodness sake, don't disobey any of these orders at the moment. Just do as you're told, and everything will go on okay. Several people have just phoned me and asked me for help. What do they do? They're phoning here and asking they want help. They've got a house which is a bit smashed up, or a window smashed up, or something else, or the water's not running, because there has been a few houses smashed up here. Put the white flag in your window. Put it in your window, white piece of paper, if you can, or a white flag. Put it in your window and just wait, and the military patrols of the Argentines will come and ask you what the problem is and help
the new operator of the radio.
Okay?
Okay.
Right. Now, we put out a call to Graham Bound of Stanley. Mr. Graham Bound of Stanley, if you're listening, would you please come to the studio and please bring a white handkerchief or a white flag and remove your Jeep and take it to your home.
No, not to remove it. We want it to come here, because if he can, we need that he takes 2 people to the governor's house. Okay?
Oh, you're going to be a taxi service, Graham. Sorry, I got that wrong. You're a taxi, mate. They want you to take 2 people from here to the governor's house. Well, that's up to you, mate. If you come up, that's up to you, okay? But that's what they want you to do. They want to know who the owner of the blue Jeep is that is outside the studio. Now, there's been a problem created by the children who are in the schools in Stanley, the Racecourse Road and Stanley School hostels. Mr. Fowler, the education chief.
He's working now. Can you
just ask them to hang on a minute,
can you
will
tell me your name?
And they want to know, Mr. Fowler wants to know what they should do.
I can catch you.
I've talked with the chief here in the radio.
Okay, okay.
And he tells me they should wait here in the schools until new orders are issued. They should wait in the 2 schools until new orders are issued. We hope that this means that they will be able to go back to school quite soon. Yeah?
Yes.
Right, yeah, he agrees with me that they should be able to go back to school soon, but at the moment, until new orders are issued, they should stay in the places that they are now. They should not go out. Please don't go out at the moment. And stay where you are at the moment, children. Many other people have phoned me, asking me problems. What should they do by feeding their hens, getting their peach in? I don't know what they should do. But I suggest if they go out and if they take a white flag or a white handkerchief with them, I can't see that it's going to create any problem if they do that. If they want to feed their hens or get their peach in or get their vegetables from the garden, for goodness sake, please, you're not pointing that gun at me, are you? You're not pointing it at me?
No.
No, please don't. Puts me off when I'm on the air, pointing the gun at me. Oh, Christ's sake. Yeah, anyway.
I'm friend.
You're a friend, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's taking the gun away now. Anyway, if you want to do these things, please come here. If they want to go to the garden, right?
Yes.
To look at the hens, you understand the hens?
The hens.
The hens. No, the hens.
How do you write it?
Oh, God. Pollo, the hens.
Yes. Chicken.
Chicken.
Yes.
They want to feed the chickens, okay? They can go and do that now.
Up to New Orleans, it will be not to find some problem. It will be necessary all the people to stay at their home.
Yeah, but the people aren't going to go on the street. They're just in their
home.
Home.
Okay, in their home. No problem.
No problem.
In their home.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so there you are, people. If you want to feed your hens, okay, feed the ducks, go and get your feet in. Don't go out on the street. Stay in your own area. Stay in your own homes, in your own boundary. Don't go out on the street, and there should not be any problem for you to do that. I know a lot of you have these things, these chickens, and that to worry about. So don't worry about it. Go out and do those jobs, but don't please go out on the street. Thank you. I'm still receiving many calls from the public asking me what they should do in certain circumstances. Now, I know everybody relies on the radio here to provide information, and I'm trying to deal with the information, but I've been told by the people here that I must restrict the number of calls that I receive. Well, I can't do that. If you want to call me, then you must call me, and I'm going to help, okay? With the assistance of the people here, because this is the only form of public relations communication that we have at the moment still operating is the radio station. Somebody has called and asked me, what do they do? They've got some cows to milk. What do they do? Well, all I can suggest to you is go out, please carry a white handkerchief, a white piece of card, a white piece of cloth, and there'll be no problem for you to go and feed your cows, milk your cows, and return. People who want to feed hens, people who want to get in peat, don't be afraid to go out of the house. So long as you stay in your own property, correct?
Yes.
Within your own property, within your own building, you can do all these things. Don't please venture out on the streets. If you venture out on the streets, then you may be stopped and asked what you're doing, and it may be a bit dangerous at the moment to do this. Okay. Mr. Ashworth is going to deliver milk later, we hope with the assistance of the patrol who are going to help him. The school children are okay. They're in their houses, they're happy, they're watching video, they're eating well, they're doing nothing wrong. Please don't worry about them, parents. But let's be one thing quite sure about this. We have been taken over, as you know, by the people who have come in. We have been taken over, and there's nothing we can do about it right now. We have to obey the instructions that we're given. And I think anybody who disobeys at the moment would be rather foolish. I know there are some hardliners in the islands who would wish otherwise, but I'm sorry, but I don't think there's anything else we can do at the moment. Okay, let us continue with the program with our music, and then we will try, if we are permitted, to relay the BBC news as we did before. I am told that I'm still the chief of the radio here, and I can still plan the programs as I wish. Well, I hope that remains. Meanwhile, let's carry on with the music. Well, I've just received a message from somebody in Stanley, which has been relayed to me from Hill Cove on the West Falklands, from Bella Mackay. Thank you, Bella. She says that she's enjoyed, she found it very informative, the program that we've relayed to you for the last 10 hours, and she thinks that we've done well. Thank you very much, Bella. And we hope we can continue to relay information to you.
Greenwich Mean Time. BBC World Service presents Radio Newsreel. The Argentine government says that its armed forces have invaded the British-administered Falkland Islands, but as we go on the air, there's still some confusion about the situation. Just over an hour ago, a British government minister told the House of Commons that he was unable to confirm that an Argentine invasion of the Falklands had in fact begun. So, for the Argentine version of events, here's our Latin America correspondent Harold Briley reporting over the line from the capital, Buenos Aires.
The advanced assault force of Marines landed just after midnight from a large fleet of ships in position off the windswept islands. They went ashore to capture key targets, the airport, the barracks of about 80 British Marines, and the tiny capital of Port Stanley, population 800. With beachheads secured, more Argentine troops arrived by helicopter, landing craft and transport planes flying from the mainland. Argentina says all objectives were successfully accomplished. The ruling military junta said the Malvinas, Argentina's name for the Falklands, and its dependencies of South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands had been recovered. There was no word whether the British Marines or civilian population of 1,800 British people offered resistance. One report said not. Britain's colonial governor, Mr. Rex Hunt, was reported to have requested talks with the occupying forces. The Army's operational chief of staff, General Benjamin Menendez, was named as Argentina's military governor. Almost the entire Argentine fleet, led by the Navy's flagship and aircraft carrier, with 1,500 troops on board, had sailed from the Navy's main base of Puerto Belgrano some days ago. The lone British Navy vessel in the area, the ice patrol ship HMS Endurance, was patrolling off the dependency of South Georgia, 1,000 miles to the southeast, shadowed by Argentine warships. President Galtieri called an emergency cabinet meeting and promised a nationwide broadcast. Some provincial towns were reported festooned with flags as Argentina celebrated its reoccupation of the islands after nearly 150 years, in which it has claimed sovereignty inherited, the Argentines say, from Spain. There was a general welcome for reoccupation of what Argentines regard as their territory.
That was Harold Briley on the line from Buenos Aires. In London, Parliament has heard statements on the situation in the Falklands and is ready to sit tomorrow, Saturday, if there are further developments. But as our political correspondent Jeff Robertson points out, there's still no confirmation in London that the Falklands have been invaded.
The atmosphere in the House of Commons was very grave as the Deputy Foreign Minister, Mr. Humphrey Atkins, informed MPs that an invasion by Argentine forces was expected very shortly.
Over the past...
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Patrick Watts, your broadcasting officer, speaking to you at this moment. During the last 10 hours, we have tried to bring you an unbiased and direct coverage of the events that have happened in Port Stanley and these islands. Up until 1 hour ago, you were hearing this station as it normally was run, with the governor in charge of the station and me in charge of broadcasting, job which I've held for 5 years, with, I hope, with distinction, and a job which I have loved and enjoyed doing for you, and which I hope I've done to the best of my ability. Now I have been told that I must obey the orders of the people who have taken over the station. And they tell me not to call them invasion forces. They are not. They tell me that they are friends of all the people in the islands. They do not want to cause any harm to anybody, no bloodshed, no problems at all. They just want to have their right of the islands recognized by everyone else. I have a difficult decision to make. I have to obey what they tell me, or I have to disobey what they tell me. To obey what they tell me is the way out, which is an easy way out. To disobey is not so easy, because if I do, then I have a gun pointed at my back. I have 2 children in the Falkland Islands, as you know, which I love very much, and I do not want any harm to come to me or them. So please understand that I have to obey the orders that I am given. And the orders I'm given are coming now from 2 people from Argentina who insist that they are friends of the people in the Falklands. Now, those decisions I leave to you to decide. I'm not going to make any decisions. I have spoken with the governor of the Falkland Islands, Mr. Hunt, 3 minutes ago, and he told me that the best thing I can do is to obey the instructions that I have. I cannot continue to operate here much longer on my own because of need to eat and sleep. But the radio station will continue. It will continue. We are told that we will continue in the same way, but we have to broadcast the communiques, as you've heard, from the Argentine people that have come to the islands. People have been ringing me in the last 5-10 minutes asking for information about people that they know. I'm afraid I cannot give that information any longer. One lady has just phoned me and asked me, could I find out about her husband, Marine Black? I was not able to tell her so. I do not know the amount of casualties at this moment on either side, but I can only repeat what I said before, that I do not wish to be able to report casualties on either side. Because as you know, our local forces were hopelessly outnumbered in this cause. Now, in the studio at this moment, I have two Argentine people, who are now running the station. And let's make it quite clear that it is no longer the station that you knew run on the same lines as previous. The governor, I hope, will be able to broadcast to you later and instruct you of what you might do or might not do.
He's working now.
But
can you call...
Just tell him to hang on. Just tell him to hang on,
Can you
please.
tell me your name, please?
You understand? They are answering my phone calls,
Evan.
and they are telling me what I must do. So I have to obey these instructions. Whether the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Station will ever return to the situation it once knew, I don't know, but I sincerely hope it does, because it's a job that I loved and enjoyed doing for you, and I hope that I can continue to do this job somehow, because for me the Falkland Islands is the greatest thing on earth. Okay? Sorry if it seems rather sentimental, but that's the way I feel at the moment.
You're listening to the Falkland Island Broadcasting Station. Phone us on 27277. 27277. Fax us on 27279. 27279. Or email fibs.fig@horizon.co.fk. The Saturday News Review on FIBS.
Hello and welcome to the programme. Join me for the next half an hour while I take a look back at the week's news. On Monday we reported that a new name had been chosen for the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Station. From the 15th of August, the station will be called the Falkland Islands Radio Service. Radio station staff met with members of the Media Trust on the evening of Friday the 10th and discussed the way ahead. More than 100 suggestions were put forward, and it was felt that the name Falkland Islands Radio Service, which was suggested by a few people, would continue to show that the station plays an important part in the community life here. The next step is to find a brand new logo to be revealed on Handover Day. On Tuesday we reported on the Liberation Day Parade. 23 years ago we were freed from Argentine occupying forces. To mark the event, a Thanksgiving service was held in the cathedral at 9:45 Tuesday morning. That was followed by an act of remembrance at the Liberation Monument, which a large crowd gathered to see. 4 clergymen conducted the act of remembrance, which was led by the Reverend Paul Sweeting.
Welcome. Welcome to our act of thanksgiving and remembrance at the Liberation Monument. Today is indeed a day to rejoice, as we give thanks for the liberation of these islands on the 14th of June, 1982, after 2 months of occupation by Argentine forces. So today we give thanks for our liberation.
Saturday's fundraising quiz night was a big success. The FIDF hall was packed with teams taking part in the fun, which was organised by Nicky Morrison and Odette Bonner on behalf of the Stanley Arms. Karina Bishop asked Odette to tell us more.
We were very impressed and very pleased with the money we raised and the amount of people that turned up. And the people that I've seen since have said that they really enjoyed themselves, so that's great. That was the aim.
Okay, and what about the fundraiser? Because that was the whole drive behind this, wasn't
Yes, well, we managed to raise a very nice £4,027.20, which was tremendous.
And that's all going to SAMA?
SAMA 82, yes. That's to help bring guys down in 2007 for the 25th anniversary.
Odette Bonner there. On Thursday we reported on speeches given by councillors at the United Nations C24 meeting in New York. In his speech to the meeting, Councillor Stephen Luxton began by describing himself as a fifth-generation islander and told how the Argentinians deported his family at gunpoint during the conflict. He went on to say that the Falkland Islands is not a colony, but a self-governing overseas territory. Councillor Luxton also included in his speech that the Falkland Islanders will never be persuaded that the Argentine claim is valid, and that the notion of the claim should be rejected by the committee.
FIBS on 88.3 FM in Stanley and 530 medium wave island-wide. Island-wide. Island-wide.